St. Anthony Hospital opened in March of 2009 and is now the Peninsula area's first community hospital. And we are in the unique position with the State Route 16 interchange project of being both a funding source as well as a beneficiary of the project.
It was a very high-profile job for the city. We had a lot riding on it. We had worked very diligently on getting the new hospital to relocate here.
We actually were able to grant land use approval to the hospital, and part of the land use approval was coming up with a traffic mitigation plan, which included the widening of Canterwood Boulevard, as well as the city's roundabout and the state roundabouts to improve geometric entry-exit angles, as well as the on and off ramps from a single to a double lane.
We kept a lot of the same configurations, but there were certain tweaks to smooth out the exits and make the entries a little bit more understandable on what lane assignments they were going to. So we were trying to help the community from a standpoint of not jarring the way they normally drive around their area. That was the hardest part, is keeping traffic flowing at all times during construction of the interchange part of the project.
To alleviate the citizen impacts and complaints, we broke this one project into two components to minimize the impacts to the traffic, because we didn't want to have Canterwood shut down, diverted, and then also have the roundabout improvements going on at the same time.
We're trying to work with the community every way we can so that people will understand. We've done work at night, we've done work on the weekends on this particular project. So we've tried to make every effort to accommodate our citizens and make life as easy as we can for them.
You had a traffic capacity here, but you also had some existing issues with the roadway system. You guys had flooding on Canterwood that would close down the road periodically, and you actually even closed the state highway that was there.
What was happening prior, the road surface was lower in elevation. The creek would come down, there was an embankment, it would actually puddle up, discharge down this way, and then go under the roadway, and it was actually starting to flood out, is what was happening. The flooding is down there at the lower sag. So what we did is just basically continue to put a new culvert under the roadway. We actually had to raise the roadway about 5 or 6 feet, channel the new creek in its natural path. So it shoots under here, and then it discharges out and makes its way under the freeway.
There's actually sort of a mini fish ladder in this, where Canterwood Boulevard had been a blockage to migrating salmon in years past, and that was one of the requirements of the State Department of Fish and Wildlife, that you had to remove that blockage.
This is basically a series of rock riffles as you go down in elevation. It's to basically allow the downstream fish that want to get up can get up, and it provides for resting pools. That's why it's terraced as you see it, so they can get up, so they can rest, and then continue upstream. We had wetland impacts by the associated widening of the on and off ramps, and due to that a quarter acre or so of impacts, we had to mitigate that by providing an additional almost 2 acres of improved wetland. We replanted it with different types of native trees and plant materials, and we'll be maintaining this in perpetuity. So this is a great example of how we mitigated the small impacts with improved impacts. We early on made outreach to the Fish and Wildlife, WFDW, as well as the Corps of Engineers. We also worked with the design team and also Department of Transportation, because it was a multi-jurisdictional permitting process.
The communication was very important in this job between DA and the city and the state to coordinate with the contractor. We are on top of all the issues, looking ahead what's facing us and making sure in a timely manner this project will be done.
Having the cooperation of the various agencies early on was something everyone strives for, but not every project actually achieves. And it really takes quite frankly, the leadership of the city to say, hey, I want this to happen this way. So they knew there was going to be more effort early on the project management of it, but it makes more sense to do that before you actually propose a design and kind of go through a do loop of it.
It's actually a proud achievement of which the city and myself I'm very proud of and humbled to have been a part of. Projects combined, the total amount came in well over $1 million under the awarded contract amounts, so a huge substantial savings.
Because this project came in on time, within budget, due to the management of City of Gig Harbor and our partnership with them, we are very fortunate indeed, knowing that we are truly a hospital that is just seconds off of Highway 16.
I'd say the biggest thing that I'd recommend that other agencies can learn is basically start the open communication early with the other agencies and entities you're going to be involved with, and be flexible in order to foster an open line of communication and a partnership with the common goal of completing the project on time and within the budget allotted.